Welcome back to Beyond the Arc. John, Ashley, and Bill here. Check out our YouTube page. You can find that at Beyond the Arc CBS. Please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. I have a feeling this next segment might end up on the YouTube page. Doc Rivers, always a favorite on this show. He went on with Bill Simmons the other day, and I'm going to read you a quote from what he said, and then I'll let you two take it away. He said, quote, "Usually you play better at home. That only place I thought, the only place that I thought it was more difficult to play at home was in Philly because of the crowd. I thought it affected our players some. By the way, the Sixers were 31-4 at home the year before Doc got there. This is just one of the things that Doc said the other day. We'll get into the other one next. What do we think about Doc blaming, I guess, things not working out in Philly on the Philly crowd?
Bill, you go first.
This dude's never met. He's never met a person or a thing that he can't blame for his own problems and mistakes. It is an art form. Like this guy is just constantly writing skits for SNL that they can just stack about him whenever there's nothing going on a Saturday night. Are you? I got Ash. I'm almost speechless by this guy. The ability for. I mean, John just gave us a stat. We couldn't play well at home because of the crowd, except the year before the crowd was one of the best in the NBA. No, the problem was that you're not a very good coach, Doc, and that you're vastly overrated. All right, I'm done. Yes, you take it away. This guy makes me so mad I can't even talk.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I'm a Milwaukee Buck, I'm annoyed by this because we have been out of the postseason for a month and a half at this point, if not 2 months. I'm estimating here. Why are you bringing this up? Why are you adding insult to injury? Nobody has talked about us for weeks now, and here you are justifying the reason why we underperformed. And when we were overperforming after, firing Adrian Griffin, everyone was saying it was a great move, and Doc's turning this team around, and Giannis and Dame, and
not everybody.
Well, there were a lot of people who were saying this was the right move, and then you were relishing in that glory, right? That was great. That was fantastic. It was all good and dandy there. And the first sign of adversity, when things kind of end up happening the way a lot of people anticipated them happening for a multitude of different reasons, all of a sudden it's everybody's fault but your own. It's the Philly crowd. John, if you remember, it was the towel boy or the ball boy or the water boy or whoever it was that was on the road. It was Damian Lillard not coming into camp in shape, even though he wasn't the head coach. It's this person's fault. It's annoying. Doc, just say, look, we didn't get it done this year. Maybe I'm part to blame. Not maybe, I am part to blame. There was a lot of turnover in the middle of the season. Giannis wasn't healthy. It doesn't help when your superstar is not healthy. Damian Lillard was dealing with some injury. We didn't get it done this year, but next year we're coming in ready to go. We'll have a full unit. We'll have chemistry. We'll have camaraderie. We'll have familiarity. We'll be back next year. Don't worry about us. But no, Doc's got to go ahead and dip his hand into his bag of excuses. It's annoying. It's annoying.
I'll say that, we're in the middle of the finals here. Well, maybe the end of the finals, but we're still in the finals. And the only things that we've talked about other than the finals are the Lakers head coaching search and now Doc Rivers. So kudos to Doc for providing content to us constantly. I actually appreciate that, and I would like to thank him for that. You mentioned, Ashley, his comments about Dame. Also on the Bill Simmons podcast the other day, he revealed, Doc did, that Dame evidently came into training camp out of shape. He said that Dame didn't work out all summer last year because he knew he was going to get traded and didn't want to get hurt. And he said that he told Doc, this is, quote, the worst shape I've ever been in my life. And that raised flags for the two of you for a couple of different reasons, not the least of which was that Doc wasn't the head coach at the time that all that went down. And also he kind of just threw Dame under the bus a little bit.
He did. I mean, yeah, okay. So a lot, right? But here's the thing, and I can't recall where he's had this conversation, how many times, but I do believe, if memory serves me correctly, Dame has alluded to this in an interview, maybe 2 interviews, if it was a podcast, I'm not sure. He did speak about, coming in out of shape because of everything that was going on with Portland and maybe Miami, maybe not Miami, but I can't recall him ever going into detail like this. This to me, and again, this was months ago when Dame spoke about this, if my memory serves me correctly, right? So here's my thing. Again, the Milwaukee Bucks underperformed. Dame didn't go ahead and perform the way that he wanted to. Giannis couldn't perform the way he wanted to. This just adds insult to injury. And also, Doc, like you said, was not the head coach. One, why would you be aware of whether or not Damian Lillard was traded? It's not your problem. It's not your concern. Two, because you weren't his head coach, that means you guys went to dinner in a friendly capacity, which means you just snitched on this man. You violated the circle of trust as a friend unnecessarily.
But isn't it that big a deal that he said Dame was out of state?
Because he's not doing it, John, in a let's defend Damian Lillard way. He's doing it out. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah, Dame was out of shape. Like, why are you
moping all summer?
And what makes it worse is, like, you weren't even his coach. If you were his coach and he said that to you, then maybe you can understand why he would share that, because that just goes ahead and talks about what he was dealing with as a head coach going into training camp, going into the start of the season. He wasn't. Therefore, it was a friendly dinner. Why are you bringing this up? It has no bearing on anything. It wasn't even your responsibility at training camp. It was Adrian Griffin's. I'm so confused. I'm very confused.
Bill, let me play
add,
devil's advocate real quick. Let me play devil's advocate real quick. I want to ask you a question. In the media, we talk all the time about how we want people to talk to us, to be transparent, to give us good answers, not cliches, not to keep all their secrets. Isn't Doc kind of doing what we've always asked from head coaches and players and executives to kind of tell us what's going on?
That's my wife, Lori, who I love very much, to feel like she can tell me anything. I don't need it at 3 a.m. when I'm sleeping and have to get up at 4:30 to do a radio show. There's a time and a place for everything. As you noted, we're in the NBA Finals. It's June. As Ash noted, the Milwaukee Bucks are not actually playing basketball right now. And also, this is self-serving. He's trying to win over Bill Simmons, who's been a big-time critic. So he's selling out Dame and whoever else he can to win over Bill Simmons, who's been critical of Doc forever. This is transactional for Doc Rivers. So look, yeah, like what you said makes sense, I guess, in theory.
And Bill,
but again, Lori, I love you.
You've been reporting on the NBA for a very long time. This man, Damian Lillard, wanted to go to Miami so bad. And we're talking about the Miami Heat, who have the toughest conditioning program in the NBA. You want me to believe this man wanted to be traded to a Pat Riley team and was not working out? I am not buying it. I'm not buying it.
That's such a good point. I don't think Doc Rivers is telling the truth. Also, small point, but I'm going to make it for Adrian Griffin. And I'm with Ash, I don't believe it. If Damian Lillard was in terrible shape, the worst shape of his career, that should offer a little more grace to the guy that was the coach and who had to try to make it work. Remember, part of the criticism, some of it was defense, but part of the criticism was Damian and Giannis aren't really working out together the way that we want. Well, maybe that's because Doc is pouring poison in Dame's ear at the dinner he's using to later snitch on him in the NBA Finals, or because the guy's out of shape. Give me a break. By the way, has anyone had a worse year than John Horst? Sorry. Has anyone had a worse year than John Horst, the GM? He moves on from Drew Holiday, and I like John a lot, but he moves on from Drew Holiday. Thank you, Bucks, for the championship, say the Boston Celtics. He hires the wrong coach. Like, if you get rid of a guy in the middle of the season, that's the wrong guy. And then he hires the only person on earth who's guaranteed to be worse than that person that they had to fire midseason in Doc Rivers. That front office is really messed up.
Tough run for John Horst. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when Dame and Doc are reunited, because the way that you guys were just describing it, either he snitched on Dame or he lied about Dame, but either way, it's not great for Doc.